What's up, A to Z Sports on a Wednesday? This week continues to be a roller coaster ride that is way better than the season that we just finished. And so we are here to discuss the new availability of fired Ravens coach John Harbaugh, the likeliness of the Titans having interest in John Harbaugh, and also having interest in Jason Garrett.
Oh, yeah.
What? Out of what left field was that? The weirdest of left fields. Easton does have a theory on that. Mike Borgonzi had a really solid press conference yesterday after the power was restored at essentially St. Thomas Sports Park.
Right.
We will not play that much of that today because John Harbaugh, obviously. And so we will just continue to discuss Mike Borgonzi's clips and topics and all of that. We have a ton to get to. I think Easton and I have a lot of opinions. We did have a shift on our daily schedule because Buck Rising did do primetime last night because of the press conference and the Harbaugh news. Easton, you'll be on primetime tonight.
He stole it from me.
He stole it. Yeah, he did steal it. But
he asked nicely, and I said, sure, I don't care.
You have no idea what might happen today.
That's right.
Right. So
I said, buddy, I'm flexible. I can do whenever you like me to do.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. So we're going to have a great show today. I'm excited about this. Easton asked a question in our morning show text group yesterday after the press conference. And he goes, do you think the Titans know what they're looking for? And so that's going to be a question we ask you guys later on the show. So because I thought it was good. It was a solid question. And I think I have an answer. Yes, Buck and Bert last night were very entertaining. I think it was a good thing to have Robert Walsh.
Was he wearing a shirt?
No, of course not.
Gotcha.
The only Ravens fan that is employed by the AtoZSports media company is Robert Walsh. And so the eve, hours after his head coach left him, it was the right time to put Robert Walsh on camera live. So that's how that works. So we're going to have a great show. If we have time for trivia, we'll do trivia. I think we should have, but it might be at like 10 a.m. I don't know. We have a lot to get to here, Easton. Welcome in. Let's get this thing off and rolling.
Yep, let's get it started. Looking forward to another great show. Very excited by the juice that we've got in the news this week. A lot of things to have an opinion on, and I know that we do. I know that those in the chat who are already with us are sure to share their opinion later in the show, so looking forward to diving into all of it, disagreeing, hashing it out, embracing debate. You got to like the show first. That's step one. On Facebook and on YouTube, hit that like button for us. It is free. It is easy. It is extremely helpful for us. And then jump into the comments. I see Corey and Wesley in the house, Joshua, Daniel Caribbean, of course, Steven, Robbie, Connor, some familiar faces, some newcomers. Welcome all. Join them. Be a part of the conversation today after you like that show. Austin, let's get it started.
Yep, let's officially welcome to A to Z Sports here live on a Wednesday. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Easton Freeze, our Titans reporter for AtoZSports.com. We are Nashville's on-demand sports.network, going live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Hit us up there at A2Z Sports. Also, it is very important for you to follow us on Google because as the world is changing and as all the news is changing, when you search Titans coaching search updates in your Google search bar, and if you followed A2Z Sports on Google, our content shows up as a preferred source. We'd appreciate if you do that as well. Also, have to thank our sponsors because they make it happen for us. And they help out all of you. Wilson County Hyundai, make them a part of your new car buying process in Lebanon, WilsonCountyHyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Barton Drury Insurance Group, customized solutions for all of your insurance needs, local and online at BartonDrury.com. And Window Nation, take advantage of January's Buy 4, Get 4 windows free. A free estimate is also there at WindowNation.com. So, John Harbaugh fired yesterday. Now,
Indeed.
He was the second coach yesterday that was mutually parting ways with his employer, but actually fired because Cliff Kingsbury, it came out that he was leaving the Commanders to pursue other opportunities.
Right.
But no, he was fired by the Commanders, as was their DC. And then you also have John Harbaugh mutually parting ways.
Right.
No, he was fired, right?
That is what one does when you get fired. You leave and you pursue other opportunities. So
sure, but the whole mutually deciding that this is time, it's like I don't buy it, right?
You can't fire me. I quit.
So, I did a impromptu Instagram reel last night that was not a part of the content plan. But when John Harbaugh gets fired at 4:30 p.m. on a Tuesday, you adapt, right? And so I think I in there so it's like, why was he fired? I go, I don't know, but he's now at the top of the list of everybody else who's looking for a head coach. So, Easton, why do you think John Harbaugh was officially out in Baltimore?
Well, the broadest answer is that even the best coaches with the strongest messages, the strongest cultures, I forget which great head coach in NFL history said this originally, so I wish I could attribute it. But I mean, there's a
Say the
general
quote, and I'll see if I can figure it out.
well, I mean, and I don't even know the quote, but it's just like generally speaking, there's like a 6 to 10 year lifespan, shelf life on any given coach's message, and that eventually even the best messages grow stale. And I think that even the least generous read of the John Harbaugh era and the way that it came to an end in Baltimore, where he was there for 18 years, which is an eternity in NFL coaching. He missed the postseason just 6 times. This year was only the second time in the past 8 years that he missed the postseason. He has a winning record in the postseason, I believe. He holds the NFL record for most road victories in the postseason. He, of course, has a Super Bowl ring. He has the 12th most wins of all time in NFL coaching history. I think all of this off the dome, but this is all roughly correct. So he is he's the second longest tenured head coach in the league behind Mike Tomlin. He's got a million pelts on the wall. Yeah. And I think that even the least generous read is that his message grew a little stale, and sometimes good things have to come to an end. And the reporting that I've seen makes it kind of sound like this was an ownership decision, not a front office decision. And it was, at least in part, about a Harbaugh or Lamar, something must change, kind of an ultimatum there. And I think that the rub may have specifically been Lamar Jackson and the offensive coordinator,
Todd Monken
in Baltimore. And I don't know the specifics of that or whether or not that was really the driving factor, but that's what it kind of sounds like. And of course, it was reported yesterday by, I think, Diana Rossini, that a part of the sticking point in the conversations yesterday with Harbaugh was that he was under no circumstances going to fire Todd Monken. And so I do find the juxtaposition funny of John Harbaugh being told, like, fire your guys to save your job. And he was like, I will go down with my ship. And then Dan Quinn in Washington was like, fire your guys to save your job. And he was like, where do I sign?
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Well, here's the difference. This is Dan Quinn's second head coaching job.
This is right.
And
he has far fewer pelts on the wall than
rarely do you get 3. Yeah. So look, I think John Harbaugh is a really good football coach. I think we all know that immediately. As the tweet that went around the world very, very quickly. Which one is this? I can't tell the difference in these two graphics.
Well, just throw them up. We'll figure it out.
This one. The Adam Schefter tweet. In the first 45 minutes after John Harbaugh was fired this afternoon, his agent, Brian Harlan, said he received calls from 7 NFL teams expressing interest in his client. There are currently 7 NFL head coaching openings, including Baltimore. Mystery team
quick
number
math
1.
on that, Skippy.
Miami, Tampa, both those franchises were floated out there as maybe that 7th mystery team. I mean, you bet your ass. The Titans better. And that's what I said last night on my reel. The Titans better be one of those 7.
Oh, they are.
I hope so. And I don't know. Are you going to tell me right now that they are? Are you saying it? Are you reporting it?
No. But I mean,
I want to make sure.
Yeah.
But they freaking better be. And if they're not, what the hell are they doing?
They are leaving. They are so dedicated to leaving no stone unturned that they are currently turning Jason Garrett stones. So they're turning John Harbaugh stones. Rest assured.
Yeah. And then this morning, or I guess later last night, Ian O'Connor of The Athletic said John Harbaugh meeting with the Giants because the Giants have quickly become the favorite to land John Harbaugh.
John Harbaugh meeting for every other coach, by the way.
Hey, we'll get to that. John Harbaugh meeting with the Giants could be as early as this weekend. Scheduling challenges might push it to next week, but given that as many as 9 teams may be involved now, the Giants are acting urgent on this. They know the stakes. And
I think everyone knows the stakes. So
yeah. So now there are not just
I love New York media. It's just the best.
So now there are 3 mystery teams.
Mm-hmm.
And if we think Tampa and Miami are two of them, who is the third?
It's probably more than that. I mean, like, listen, like, we could sit here and I think in short order name the coaches in the league who are probably actually safe from the John Harbaugh sweepstakes. There are currently 7 openings, which means that there are currently 25 safe coaches in the league. How many of those guys are really safe from the John Harbaugh sweepstakes? 15 of them, right? Like, I think there's probably 10 currently employed head coaches whose team, I mean, the defending Super Bowl champions. You want to tell me that if they get, blanked this weekend and go home, that GM, the most forward-thinking GM in the league, isn't at least thinking about?
No, they've literally had so many chances to fire Nick Sirianni and have continued to double down on him. He is the perfect head coach for that market.
Have there been opportunities that included the next Andy Reid being available to you? Because I don't think that's been the case yet.
And yeah, I think, my connection of the John Harbaugh, it could be the next Andy Reid, I think is great and could absolutely be the case.
Oh, you think so?
Now, John Harbaugh is, I want to say, a decade, almost a full decade older than when Andy Reid left the Eagles.
Let's find out.
Andy Reid is 67. John Harbaugh is 63. Andy Reid has been in Kansas City
2013.
Right. So that's what, a dozen years. So about a decade difference in age there, right, roughly.
But Andy was with Philadelphia for, I believe, 12 or 13 seasons. So
sure,
a very long tenure like Harbaugh's.
Yeah, and, absolutely.
That story, which I was refreshing myself on yesterday, he actually, technically, like history tells it, like he didn't get fired. His contract ran up, but everyone that was around at the time will tell you that he got fired. Like, it's very similar
to the John Harbaugh exit.
Right. And in that situation, it was known relatively early on in the process that his contract was not going to get renewed. And he and his staff, he was basically able to build up and shore up his staff. And he took his guys and went straight to Kansas City, signed a 5-year deal. And Kansas City went from a team that was floundering for a couple of years with like there's a 1-win season in there. There's a 4-win season in there. And then all of a sudden they win, 10 straight AFC West championships.
7.
That's a history.
Divisional, yeah.
Yeah. That's a history, by the way, that Mike Borgonzi knows the entirety of, because he was there for 4 years in Kansas City before they hired Andy Reid. He saw that 1-win season, that 4-win season, and then he saw all of the success and victory and champagne that followed.
So let's just get to the chase here. You wrote it at AtoZSports.com yesterday. I said it on our social media accounts across many different platforms last night. The Tennessee Titans owe it to you, the fans, to do everything they possibly can to get John Harbaugh in Nashville for an in-person interview with this front office. If that does not happen, pitchforks are valid, in my opinion.
All right.
Now, I added the last part. You agreed. The first part you wrote and I said, but I added the pitchforks part.
Because the metaphorical pitchforks.
If
they do not condone violence.
I mean, you absolutely, yes. Yeah. All the online pitchforks.
I thought you were about to say, well,
in this case,
I'm gonna shuffle off screen real quick.
So Connor says, I agree, Austin, but the Giants are going to throw the kitchen sink at him. That might be the case. And they've got a lot of Michelin level chef sinks out there in New York.
Michelin level sinks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's ask the question, because then I want to make fun of the Giants.
You want to ask the question right now?
Well, I'd like to make fun of the Giants. So
okay,
should that happen now?
We'll get to the Giants. We'll get to the Giants in a second.
Okay.
But the fact is, I think John Harbaugh, is going to be selective, right? Because he has the pick of all the jobs. John Harbaugh is now the less sleazy Lane Kiffin, because Lane Kiffin held the college football coaching carousel hostage for almost a whole month because of his inability to make a damn decision. True. Now, not all of it is Lane Kiffin's fault. It is the calendar's fault in college football. But the fact of...
But Lane chose to do it. John's not choosing.
But yes, no, totally. And so that's what I'm saying. He's not... John Harbaugh is not sleazy. But in the same way, John Harbaugh has the ability to take his time and to let the best offers come to him.
Absolutely true.
And so Lane Kiffin held up Florida. He held up Arkansas. He held up... Like, if you go back and look at the timeline of Lane Kiffin makes a decision, he's going to LSU. Bang! Now watch how quickly the other jobs across the country filled up. And because they were waiting for that domino to fall. Right. John Harbaugh is the Lane Kiffin domino. So the Titans are going to have to wait for John Harbaugh, which means they have plenty of time, because whatever the Giants' kitchen sink is going to be from that commenter, they're going to wait for this mystery team A, B, C, D, E, F, G in the playoffs to lose, to then fire said head coach or back channel the situation to find out what that kitchen sink looks like. So John Harbaugh can figure out which one he wants to eat out. So that's my thought on that one.
No, I mean, I think that's obviously true. He quickly jumped ahead of Stefanski because this was kind of the less aggressive position that Stefanski was in, as the most desirable guy at the top of the list. And the two of them, I think, are the clear 1-2. At least that's the way that people are talking about it. It's the way that it seems teams are pursuing them in that manner. I think that that's completely reasonable, frankly. I think that this year's coaching carousel is defined, unlike a lot of recent years. We've kind of talked about how the wonderkin offensive coordinator, young, fresh-faced, fresh idea guy was so hot for the past half decade. It feels like we've kind of overfished those waters a little bit. And I think now you've got at least like the Titans and the Giants, the parallels for those two in particular feel really strong to me. I think that both teams are clearly looking for a guy with experience, a floor raiser, a culture builder, a stabilizing force, and that's why they are kind of barking up the same trees, and everybody and their mother in media, especially in New York media, thinks that the Giants are getting every single coach to hire. I was making fun of this with Nick Suss yesterday. It's like every single coaching candidate becomes the favorite in the clubhouse for the Giants job. And it's like, we do know that they can only hire one coach. Because, yesterday, Harbaugh comes free, and I text Nick Suss, and like, bang, another coach for the New York Giants to hire. They can only hire one. So, on one hand, it's frustrating that the Giants' job, and I would argue maybe the Falcons' job, there are at least a couple jobs, I think, that may... and the Ravens' job now, hello.
Yeah.
That step in front of the Titans in the line of desirability. This, of course, all really hinges on what you believe in these. Like, I think the Giants' job is more attractive than the Titans' job if and only if you really believe in Jackson Dart. You could say the same about the Atlanta Falcons' job and Michael Penix. And I'm sure you could say the same about the Titans and Cam Ward, because he's a giant. He's one of the biggest selling points for the Titans' job. In fact, the Titans' job is kind of undesirable if you don't believe in Cam Ward. So that's a very big part of it.
You also have the Raiders, who have $100 million of cap space, and Fernando Mendoza.
Right. They've got one in the bag. So I just think for every new coach that is very desirable that comes on the market, it's a double-edged sword. It's like, well, when new jobs come open for Baltimore and that jumps the Titans in desirability, that stinks. But if you're a huge fan of Jeff Hafley, like I am, and 2 weeks ago he was head coach 1 on the depth chart in New York, and now, if I'm following this correctly, he's head coach 3 on the depth chart, because since then, Kevin Stefanski became the leader in the clubhouse, and now John Harbaugh is the leader in the clubhouse. Well, that means 2 of those guys are not going to be the New York Giants head coach, which means they could be the Tennessee Titans head coach.
Sure. So let's ask the question now, because I think you kind of set this up perfectly. Does the Ravens firing John Harbaugh help or hurt the Titans head coach search? Does the Ravens firing John Harbaugh help or hurt the Titans head coach search? I just threw that in the chat, and I will put up a YouTube poll here momentarily. But let me tell you guys about our friends at the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care, as Easton just scurries off. Yesterday, we did a Doc Talk segment with Dr. Scott Arthur about Cam Ward's AC joint injury. We will have that for you guys this lunchtime today, around lunchtime, I believe noon Central Time is when that is going out on all of our socials. So check that out on YouTube and on Facebook. It'll be right here. So we talk about the immediate and the long-term effect of Cam Ward's injury to his throwing shoulder, what that means for throwing athletes, what that means for Cam. I even asked Dr. Scott Arthur about what that means for Cam, who throws not like a quarterback all the time, but also like a shortstop, because that matters. And what are the different levels of the AC joint injury? And are they categories? Are they levels? Are they types? And what does surgery when does surgery become required? When is it not? We talked through a lot of that. It was really good conversation with the Bone and Joint Institute in Franklin, online, boneandjointtn.org.
We're also powered by BTA Sports. Use that link in the description below to get a 14-day free trial. The BTA Sports, download the app on your phone and use that free trial to make money. It's really that simple. If you're a bettor who wants to become more serious, more data-backed, then BTA Sports is going to help you do that. Very easy, very affordable once that 14-day free trial runs up. If you're using it correctly, it can pay for itself. So give it a try. No risk. First 2 weeks free, courtesy of our relationship with BTA Sports. They are better for bettors.
All right, so help or hurt? Does the John Harbaugh firing help or hurt the Titans head coach search? I did put up the YouTube poll. Easton, I'll send you the chat. What are people saying this morning?
Let's see. What are people saying? I am scrolling. MB says it helps. Helps from Katie. Helps from DDDD Reed. Help because another quality person becomes available. Helps another top coach in the mix. A-Rod asks, what if the Steelers get booted and they fire Mike? Well, then it's kind of a one-for-one thing. A really hot head coaching candidate
because something I
really
forgot to bring up. Something I forgot to bring up. If Tyler Loop makes that field goal, are we talking about Mike Tomlin and the Steelers parting ways and John Harbaugh lives at least another week?
That's the going theory. My gut, I mean, maybe. My gut says no. I think that Tomlin was more secure in his job than Harbaugh was. And I also think there's a decent chance that even if that happens and Tomlin misses the playoffs and Harbaugh gets into the playoffs and then the Ravens get dog walked by whoever they were going to, the Texans, then you still could have seen Harbaugh fired just a later wrench in the program here.
I think we're talking about Tomlin this week. I think we're talking about Harbaugh next week. I think they're both out.
Oh, but it's still a possibility, by the way, because then the Steelers could get dog walked this weekend.
But DK Metcalf is back. I don't know.
Yeah, but if they lose an uncompetitive 20-point game,
20 points, come on, to the Texans.
The Texans might go to the Super Bowl, dog. I think that they crush. I think that they crush the Steelers this week.
Yeah, but they'll crush them by like 14. It'll be the most uncompetitive 14-point game.
Sure,
but it'll be like 20-6.
I could see a 24-6 game that is ugly.
Yeah, they got to score a touchdown on defense, I think.
Let's not pretend that the Texans defense, like this is not an Eagles situation. The Texans offense defense balance is not great, but it's better than Philadelphia's right now.
Fair.
The Texans are scoring points. It's just spotty.
Right.
But they have weapons.
Sure. But their offense, again, we're getting off topic. So I still think.
Wild card preview coming up next.
If that field goal went in by Loop, then maybe we're talking about both these guys and both these jobs being up. All right, back to the comments. You go. Help or hurt?
Ultimately, though, I think Baltimore was going to fire him either way. Like unless they went on a run in the playoffs and did some interesting things.
I think if they beat the Texans, then maybe because they have Derrick Henry.
Sure.
Derrick Henry does everything. Still Lamar. And Derrick Henry just in the Texans building just demolishes them all the time.
There's a part of my heart that really hurt, by the way, when that happened. Because whenever you rob me of the precious few playoff opportunities that we have left to see playoff Derrick Henry, like that hurts my soul a little bit because there's nothing that I love more than that. But yes. Back to the chat.
Help or hurt? Yeah.
Connor says it helps. Number 4 pick, number 1 in cap space this offseason. Young, promising quarterback. We are the top destination, Easton. Connor's trying to sell me on it. I will die on this hill. All right, well, hey, I like a man that knows what he thinks. I disagree, but I hear you. I really do think it is. I mean, this is always the case. It's in the eye of the beholder. Like, this is such a quarterback-driven league that sometimes it really is as simple as which quarterback do you believe in? If you love Cam Ward and you always thought and still think that Jackson Dart is a mirage, a ticking time bomb, then you're going to definitely think the Titans' job is better, I think, regardless of anything else, regardless of how skeptical you are of Amy Adams-Strunk.
Jackson Dart had like 20-something touchdowns, 5 interceptions total. Like, how many times did he get evaluated for concussion? It's definitely more than 5.
Yeah, 7. I don't know.
Yeah.
But as Rob points out, the Giants have a lot of really talented young core players. And I agree on this. Let me say, though, I was talking, as I tend to do, Nick Suss, if you can't tell, I have a very high opinion of him. We were talking about this yesterday, and he was arguing, well, how many of these openings have a guy on the roster that is top 5 at their position? And I was like, not many of them. Like, the Titans have 1. The Falcons have one. You can go down the list. The Cardinals
Raiders
have
one.
none. The Raiders have one. And he's like, right. And the Giants have more. And I was like, but the Giants have two. Like, it's none of these teams are.
Who are
I
the
agree.
two?
Both of the defensive linemen, Burns and blank on his name.
Which one? Which one is there?
Not the rookie. Although Abdul Carter obviously is a big selling point as well.
Yeah.
Burns and someone will help me in the chat. But the point is, they've got a talented young core. I think that Atlanta has a really talented young core.
Raiders got two. Brock Bowers.
Oh, I forgot about Brock Bowers. Yeah. True. Good point. You're making my point. My point is, these teams' rosters are varying levels of broken. Well, that was before we were talking about this before
Titans
the Ravens job came open yesterday.
If the Titans are one free agent extension away from having three.
Hang on. Don't tell me. Peter Skoronski and who, brother? Who are we talking about here?
Morgan Cox, dude.
All right. You got me. Fair point. You know what? They have four. Jimmy DK. So
yeah, there you go.
So
best job available.
You know what? You sold me.
And
Connor, or whoever that was in the chat, it is the best job.
And according to Sam Phelan, the 21st ranked quarterback in the NFL.
That's right, Sam Phelan, known Matt Nagy hater and Jeff Hathley hater for some reason. I don't know where he's getting that from. I think it's just a Packers thing. Those NFC North guys are weird. NFC North. Mm-hmm. So the majority of the chat is saying that it helps the Titans. Here's the one thing I want to start, and then Austin, you can say whether it helps or hurts. I do think it's kind of a tit for tat situation with a very attractive job coming open in the Ravens, but also a very attractive head coach candidate coming open in John Harbaugh. The wild card being that the Ravens have to have a coach for next year. John Harbaugh does not have to coach next year. And it's been reported very quickly that he wants to coach. He wants to get back in. Same thing for Stefanski. But I don't think these are the kind of guys I don't know. The time will tell. Yeah. I don't think that they would take just any job. I don't think Harbaugh is taking a job that he thinks is less than just because he's dying to not take a year off. He obviously can take a year off. The reports that he, last year he signed a 3-year extension. He was getting paid top of the market, $16, $17 million a year. He's still getting paid that. There's offset language. So he's fine. He's not getting any younger. I'm sure that's what he's thinking. He's, I'm not getting any younger. I'm 63 years old, and I need to go coach. I want to coach.
I think if John, and I told this to Buck when I was talking to him yesterday afternoon, I think if John Harbaugh takes a year off, he's like, man, this is nice, and he doesn't come back.
Well, my initial thought is if he's down to whatever job he thinks stinks, he's like, oh, it's either the Cardinals job or nothing, and decides no. I think he'll just go, be a top dog with his brother in LA for 1 year. Just go kick it as Harbaugh number 2 in LA for a year and then come back next year.
Yeah.
That would be the easy route to me.
I saw Hard Pressure on YouTube says Harbaugh is 63. He has maybe 5 years left to coach. I completely disagree. Andy Reid's 67, and they've been talking about retirement for Andy Reid for a couple of years now, and it's not happening this year. So he's going to be coaching at 68. Which is 5 years down the road for John Harbaugh. And if you haven't looked, John Harbaugh is the best looking, most fit 63-year-old that I've ever seen. And so that guy is not 63. He is the Calvin Ridley of head coaches. His legs probably are 58.
Okay. Noted. I agree with you that he is a spry, although, these are all the same things we said about Pete Carroll, the most spry 70 whatever year old.
He's still spry. The Raiders
I know, but he just got fired because he can't coach anymore. Apparently,
has nothing to do with his energy. It has nothing to do with his ability to. Steven said he squats 400 pounds. John Harbaugh squat 400 pounds at this age. That's just not something anybody should advise. But if he can do it, great. Hopefully, on a Smith machine or something.
Kind of calling BS on that, but
that's
all right.
I'm not going to doubt him. I'm going to doubt his reasoning for why he's trying to attempt it.
Yeah.
But
I believe that at one point he could bench or squat that much.
Well, yeah. Okay, 400-pound squat. It's not that much.
I don't think 67 or 63-year-olds are doing
for 63. Yeah, you said at one point.
Yeah, I'm saying I believe that at one point in maybe somewhat recent history he could. I don't believe that's still the case.
Like, at one point I could too.
Right.
It was a while ago. But anyway, so I think the idea is that he's 63 but has a lot of time left. And Hard Pressure says not everyone is living to 80, bro.
This is true.
Yes, but also when you make a ton of money and you have the ability and you have look, John Harbaugh is not anywhere near the end of his career.
It's not a health thing to me, though.
No.
Like it wasn't with Carroll. I think that there is some validity to the idea that well, first of all, some guys don't want to work until they die, so he may be like wanting to enjoy retirement eventually. But also, I'm more worried about the game passing you by and comfortability creeping in. In the case of Pete Carroll, nepotism clearly creeping in. You're hearing some ugly stories about the Carroll bros that were on the coaching staff that were a massive problem, and it was a blind spot for Pete. Like, and I'm not accusing John Harbaugh of those things. I wouldn't be advocating for him to be the Titans head coach if I thought that would be the case. But I do think that you reach a certain age, everyone knows old people that are like, I'm done meeting new people. I'm good. I don't need new friends. I don't need new acquaintances. I know who I know, and I trust who I know. That comes for everybody eventually.
I'm going to move out on 12 acres of land and talk to nobody.
That comes for everyone. It does. It does. Yeah. Unless you're like Dick Van Dyke at 100 years old, who has the sprightly spirit of a 12-year-old still.
Yeah.
It's coming, and that does concern me as a coaching candidate.
But I don't think John Harbaugh is anywhere close to being done. I think he's going to.
I don't either.
I think he's going to be coaching into his 70s. Like, not too deep into his 70s, but I think he will be. I think he would want to. It's what's this next job? Is this next job going to be another 10-year tenure for Harbaugh? Is he going to have two of them? Like an 18-year run and then another double-digit year run in the next spot? That's highly unlikely. I think the next time he gets fired, he's probably done. But that's not going to be because of his age. So, all right. So my answer, does it help or hurt the Titans coaching search that John Harbaugh is now available? I honestly have flip-flopped back and forth on this ever since this happened. It happened as Buck and I were on the phone last night. I talked to you on the phone after that. I've been thinking about this. I've been listening to all types of different things, and I've been trying to figure out what I think and what I truly feel, because my first instinct is this does hurt the Titans because they're not getting John Harbaugh, and the Ravens are a better job. The Giants are probably going to get a candidate higher on their list than the Titans are on their own list. I think the Falcons are a good job. Then you have these mystery teams, right? As I pull up the Ian O'Connor tweet from last night, that as many as 9 teams could be involved now. The Giants are acting urgently on this. They know the stakes. So you're talking about the 6 openings plus 3 others. There is a playoff team somewhere that wants John Harbaugh. And that honestly is what made me flip to this helps the Titans. This helps the Titans for what I said about 15 minutes ago. John Harbaugh is the Lane Kiffin domino to the rest of the coaching carousel. And based on what I heard from Mike Borgonzi yesterday, the Titans are not in any hurry.
I think that's absolutely the case.
So the Titans are going to take their time. They're going to do all their due diligence. They're not being lazy. They're not being lazy. They're not being slow. They're being thorough. They're being very thoughtful and intentional with this coaching search. And now John Harbaugh, who I also am predicting based off of just my connecting of dots and just what I would think John Harbaugh would do, is going to wait until these playoff teams that are back channeling through his agent are out and available to talk to him before he does anything, which now allows the Titans to continue on their process and continue to do their due diligence and not have any pressure really on them from the John Harbaugh conversation. And now, I don't think the Titans are getting John Harbaugh. I said earlier, you said this last night, the Titans owe it to their fan base to interview him in person and in Nashville. And I absolutely think that should happen. But they're not going to get John Harbaugh. It's just not going to happen. If it does, awesome. Great. And they pulled it off, and that's amazing. I also said the same thing about Mike Borgonzi last year, by the way.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There's a chance. Not likely. So, but again, but the longer that John Harbaugh is waiting on potential playoff teams to drop out and to go that process, the better it is for the Titans. Because now somebody who's in the playoffs is going to get fired. Like maybe. And that adds another person in there, right?
Right.
And so I think the Titans will be able to still get one of the candidates they wanted. They truly wanted, and not settling, but wanted after John Harbaugh picks his spot.
Right. I think ultimately it is a good thing just because I think the more quality candidates that are added to the pool, the more likely, because all you have to do is convince one, right? Even if you are not the consensus favorite job opening, all you have to do is convince one guy that you are his favorite job opening and that you are meant to be. So while I do think that there's more competition now with the Ravens job being open, I think that there's more buzz going on. And frankly, these retread, freshly fired guys in Harbaugh and Stefanski being all the talk does take a little bit of the attention. And maybe I assume this will come back around once these guys are available post playoffs. But like, we're not hearing a lot about Chris Shula and Jeff Hafley and Robert Saleh and those guys, because these guys are all the rage. Teams aren't, I mean, maybe a team is just so maybe a team is so sure of John Harbaugh that they just go out of their way to hire the guy ASAP and they cut their entire process short. But generally speaking, I don't think anybody's jumping to make a hire until they can do in-person interviews starting the 19th.
Well, John Harbaugh can go do those now.
Yeah, but like doing a comprehensive in-person search. Like if you're hiring a guy now based on an in-person, it's not comprehensive.
Well, Stefanski had dinner last night with the Giants, right? And is hanging out with them for breakfast this morning. Right?
Yes.
So they're doing that whole song and dance. So I think teams are more willing to offer John Harbaugh now. I think there's no reason for John Harbaugh to accept anything on the front end.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
No. Why would he jump to accept a situation? And I mean, I don't know. There's also the element of what is John Harbaugh looking for? There's been a lot of speculation that the Giants job is great for him because they're retaining Joe Schoen, and Joe Schoen is increasingly a lame duck. He may still be employed, but what's the power dynamic there? He can't have a whole lot of power. People are saying maybe it turns into a Liam Cohen situation in Jacksonville. Yeah. So, you could see John Harbaugh hired there, and then Joe Schoen, they do a 180 and fire the guy after saying they were going to retain him. So
I would
whether
think
he's there or not, I think Harbaugh could go there and be the guy in charge. And if that's what he wants, then that does make that attractive. That's not going to be the case in Tennessee, right? Mike Borgonzi's not going to be forking over the power that he now has enumerated in his contract to the guy that they're hiring.
But as of right now, if Joe Schoen and Borgonzi are both in place, I think the Titans have an edge at the GM spot over the Giants right now. But Harbaugh could do what happened with Trent Baalke last year with the Jags and say, no, I'm not taking this job unless that guy's out. And maybe. All right. The YouTube poll update on this one. So we just put out, does the firing of John Harbaugh help or hurt the Titans head coach search? 78% say help. So I'm going to go ahead and end that poll there. 78% say help. So that is that one on that. So look, we will continue to have a lot of John Harbaugh conversations, I'm sure. And then the Titans also put out a interview request for the ex-Cowboys coach we were not expecting.
Bang!
And that is Jason Garrett. So there's Easton's update right there. We will talk through the Jason Garrett interview request and the purpose of it. Just on the fly, big deal, small deal, or no deal, right? We'll do that here in a second. But first, let me tell you guys about our great, my friends at Window Nation, because I've got new windows in my house as of Thanksgiving week by Window Nation. They are awesome. I'm looking out my office right now. I mean, they really are. They really have improved our home substantially. And they have so many different ways you can finance that project and make it better for your home, improve the value of your home as well. If you're doing a refinance or a reappraisal, windows are a massive deal for that. And Window Nation has a great deal going on for you this January. It is buy 4 windows, get 4 windows for free, which is a crazy deal. I got buy 2, get 2 free. So I don't know how many windows you got at your house, but buy 4, get 4 free is a big deal if you guys have a lot of windows at home. And they come in all different shapes and sizes, different styles, different levels. They've also got a great install team and awesome customer service along every step of that process, and they make it easy and no sweat on you, and many, many different ways to finance the project. You could get 0% financing for up to 2 years. You could have no payments for a handful of months, whatever makes sense for you. They got it. Windonation.com for a free estimate.
We're also powered by AtoZSports. Use the link in the description below to get a 14-day free trial. That's 2 free weeks of the AtoZSports app right in the palm of your hand, helping you make money at the sports books. They're better for bettors. Give them a try. You won't regret it.
All right, so here's the news. You kind of have your research that you did. Jason Garrett, the ex-Cowboys coach who has been on Football Night in America for however many seasons before Sunday Night Football, is being requested to interview by the Titans. Easton, I'll let you take it here to explain maybe why.
Yeah, doing some digging this morning, found out that Mike Borgonzi's brother, Dave Borgonzi, longtime assistant in the league, is somebody that has a history with Jason Garrett, was there as a defensive assistant for 2 years and an offensive assistant for 1 year for Garrett in the first 3 years of his tenure as the Cowboys head coach from 2011 to 2013. Dave is currently, well, maybe about to change, but at the moment still the linebackers coach for the Dallas Cowboys. He's bounced around the league a good bit, but he has a lot of Cowboys experience, including with Garrett. And so I'd imagine they're probably pretty high on the guy. Maybe this comes at the recommendation of Dave. I don't know that for a fact. You're looking for any reason why they could possibly be interviewing the guy that's been difficult to listen to on NBC Sports for a couple of years now. And this rings kind of true to me.
He just yells, doesn't he? And like I know people think that like you and I talk loud and yell, and like I definitely talk loud, but Jason Garrett just monotone, just talks way too loud than the room needs. Does everybody else feel that same way?
It's just hard to listen to him as a broadcaster. I don't know.
It's like Maria Taylor, who's one of the best hosts in the business, will like ask him, like toss something to him. He's like, "Yeah, Maria, I just think that," and he just goes in the same tone. And like, whoa, damn, dude, like
that's funny.
That's just how I feel about Jason Garrett on TV. I don't think he's very good on TV. But
no, I agree with you on that.
I think people hated this news.
Yes. More than they hate the Nagy element. I mean, like maybe that's what
I said. This is the distraction for Matt Nagy.
Right.
All right. So if it's not, let's just say it's not the Borgonzi brother connection.
Okay.
What do you think? Like, what football reason do you think this Jason Garrett interview is for?
I don't know. I saw people last night floating that it's like to get intel on the Air Coryell system for Cam Ward, and I saw Tehran being like that's a good system for Cam, and I'm not begrudging that opinion. I don't understand how we got to the point that we think you must interview Jason Garrett to understand those things. Because is Jason Garrett the bringer of all truth on the Air Coryell approach to football? I don't know,
but you know what you could also do? You just call him and ask him.
Right.
You don't have to interview him for the job to ask him that when he's got a very cushy job on the Sunday Night Football desk.
Yeah. I won't pretend to know the reasons behind every fact-finding interview. I do feel strongly that that's what this is. I don't think that Jason Garrett is a serious candidate for the job. I do think that interviewing him adds to the growing pile of evidence. The Titans are looking for a guy that has experience, has won a lot in the past, knows a thing or two about the NFL. Like I maintain that that's the pivot that the Titans are looking for. And I don't know why Garrett, like there are other options than Garrett to do that with. But I also, one other kind of a side note, but I'm seeing a lot of people online kind of freaking out about who the Titans have and haven't requested.
Yeah, I was going to get to that in a second.
Okay. Well, that's fine.
Because I was going to bring, this is yesterday's list, right? Nagy, McCarthy, Kingsbury, Vance Joseph, Spagnuolo, Anarumo, Stefanski, Raheem Morris. Now you add Jason Garrett to that officially. Are there any other?
McCoy.
And Mike McCoy.
I have never seen a team label an exit interview as a head coaching interview, but the Titans have done it.
So with those two additions of
Zach
Jason
Lyons
Garrett,
last night was saying, and I think he's absolutely true. This is absolutely true. Interviewing Jason Garrett is a bigger waste of time than interviewing Mike McCoy. Which
yeah, because you had to talk to Mike was just down the hall. Like
that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
So anyway, if you add Jason Garrett and Mike McCoy to that list that I just showed you, and I'll put it up there again, every single one, minus Lou Anarumo, has been a head coach before.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is also why I want Lou Anarumo off that list as fast as possible. And maybe that happens today when he
That's the reason why. Like, so are you gonna say that about Chris Shula too?
No.
Okay.
Lou Anarumo has been
he's just one of the reasons you don't like him on
been
that list.
like what's the point? Like, he hasn't gotten an opportunity in 20 years.
Right.
That Chris Shula has that he has on Chris Shula, I guess.
Right.
So the Jason Garrett thing makes no sense. And I'm frustrated. It makes me question the process a little bit by having to officially interview Jason Garrett for the head coach job. Like, you don't have to do that.
You don't. You're right.
And if Easton, you are saying that there are going to be some names on this interview list that are not serious candidates for the head coach job, that's fine. Jason Garrett doesn't need to be, he doesn't fall in that category. He is not somebody who is potentially going to be a coordinator for one of the other coaches that you do hire. He is not somebody who is a young up and coming person who you want to get to know a little bit, because in a few years he might be that next hot name. He's not either of those.
Well,
so you don't. And so Jason says he's good with quarterbacks. Austin, oh, cool. Call him. Like, you have it. Like, if there's a Borgonzi brother connection, great. Use it. Call him. Don't interview him for the head coach job. Just ask him, hey man, what'd you think of Cam this year? It's his job to analyze quarterbacks in football because of what his role is. So it's like, just there's no purpose to this.
I don't have much more to say on it. I really do think it is a knowing the guy through personal connections situation. I won't pretend to know the exact reason why beyond that they gave him an interview, but ultimately it won't matter a lick that they did unless they hire him. And then if we ever cross that bridge, we can talk about it.
My thought is this a favor? Is this a favor because Jason Garrett wants another head coaching job, maybe, and says, hey, can you get me back in this cycle? Like,
perhaps. I just like if 2.5 weeks from now the Titans are introducing their new head coach, Chris Shula or Robert Saleh or Jeff Hafley or Kevin Stefanski or John Harbaugh or literally whoever it is, or Matt Nagy for that matter, the fact that they interviewed Jason Garrett the first week of the offseason isn't going to matter to anybody.
I know.
So ultimately, I think it is a interesting but not important thing, to quote Mike Vrabel.
Yeah. Ray School says the Air Coryell offense is a top-down read system rather than a bottom-up, but outside of that, it uses motion and is more vertical than horizontal.
Which is why people think it's good for Cam, because Cam is, that's what he did a lot at Miami, was top-down instead of bottom-up, and that's what he tried to change to do this year.
And it didn't work. That's wwhy Tajay Spears got decapitated on almost every check down. Because he was the last thing that Cam saw. And Tajay's just fighting for his life. It just does not inspire me at all. And so I get the idea that Jonathan, they're just picking the brains with these interviews. You can pick brains. Like they said this. Yeah, Borgonzi said this yesterday. They've been picking the brains and doing back channel research on all these candidates for months. Like, you can do the same thing with Jason Garrett over the last 3 months. You don't have to interview the guy for the head coach
It makes
job.
sense to have to do a formal interview with the guy to pick his brain if he's with another team and there's like a process to it. But when the guy's just out there and available, just call him.
Just hit him up. You
can even have him over. There's no rules against this. You don't have to announce
chilling,
it as
man.
right.
As long as it's not on Sunday evening when he has to be in studio, you got 6 other days of the week that you can have Jason Garrett come to your house.
Right.
So, all right, let's go ahead and get to this last topic of the show, and then we'll have some trivia. We've got no real time constraints today. But I will let you set this up, Easton. This question that you had coming out of yesterday. But first, I'm going to tell you guys about Barton Drury Insurance Group. Customized solutions for all of your insurance needs. BartonDrury.com. A to Z Sports has turned to them for many different reasons. First, it was our workers' comp policy, because as we continue to grow over the last few years, you have employees in different states across the country, which means you have different workers' comps laws and rules and all this other stuff. And we had no idea about that. But Barton Drury was able to swoop in and help us out quite a bit and continue to update that workers' comp policy the more and more we continue to grow and add people in new states. We're like the coin collectors back in the day, where we're just trying to find how many 50 states can we get. Back when they had their own quarters. That's what AtoZ Sports is doing. We have a big map in my office. But then Barton Drury also helped us out with our health coverage for our employees. I'm on it. We've got several of our employees that are on it as well, and they've helped us find out which options are the best for us, and they've gone to bat for us across their options and their network to find what can best help our employees for health coverage, whether it's a family, dental, vision, individual, whatever that looks like. Barton Drury, great people, local and willing to pick up the phone, jump on a Zoom, trade emails, whatever it is. BartonDrury.com.
BTA Sports, better for better. Start dominating the game today by using the link in our description. 14-day free trial. You will start making more money with BTA Sports and their data-backed betting advice, models, all of these things that you find in the app for free for 2 weeks if you use the link in the description below. BTA Sports.
All right, so you asked a question to us in our text group yesterday after the Borgonzi press conference, and I'll let you kind of set up what made your mind kind of go that direction.
So the question that I asked was, do we think the Titans actually know what they want? And the initial reason my brain went this way is I was talking, unrelated to the Titans or Mike Borgonzi's press conference, talking to an NFL source I have about head coaching interview process in general. So again, really not Titan specific, but just like the ins and outs of the logistics of like what the interview looks like, what executives are asking, how this works. And that kind of spawned this question, because at one point the guy told me, like, sometimes these guys don't even know what they want. You can tell. You go to the interview room and you're like, you can tell these guys are kind of just blindly looking around until they bump into something that feels familiar enough to hire. And I'm not saying that's what the Titans are doing, but it did make me think about whether the Titans actually know what they want. And then I go to the press conference yesterday and I hear Mike Borgonzi, who lays out a handful of explanations on the quality they want in their next guy, whether they're looking for a guy with experience or a guy that is younger and less experienced, all of these things. And then I consider what the Brian Callahan search was in terms of a pivot from Mike Vrabel. I consider what Vrabel was and why he was fired in the first place. And there's just a lot of elements to this that I find interesting. And there's also an angle that I'll give Paul Kuharsky credit for. He brought this idea into my brain by mentioning it on a podcast the other day. And I texted him, like, this is a good idea. I like this. Are the Titans afraid of an alpha? And do they need an alpha? I think that's an interesting conversation. So I think it's fair to ask, and maybe we'll know as the process goes on and they hire a guy. Do the Titans actually know what they want?
So when you asked that question, I had my instant thought was, I think there's two parts to my answer to the question. And if anybody has an opinion on this, because, Big Rich says, I don't think fans know what they want. They're damn right about that. I feel like every other offseason when the Titans are looking for a quarterback, they're like, no, not this guy, not that guy. What about this guy? Hell no, not that guy. Well, then what do you want?
Right.
So here's what I think the Titans want. I don't think they want to pigeonhole themselves accidentally in this coaching search.
Sure.
So I believe that is their first goal, which is why they are requesting to interview the people they've requested. And then there's more people to come after the first week of the playoffs that they will have more. I don't think they are worried as much about the football X's and O's acumen of this next head coach. The personality seems to be the more important aspect of who they're going to hire. Because, as you mentioned, Vrabel and Callahan, This typically happens. The overcorrection of which side you go from.
Mm-hmm.
The like meathead jock Vrabel, who does not get enough credit for how actually football smart he is. He just comes across as the linebacker who just shoves his face into everything and yells and stuff, which he does that too. But then to the intellectual, analytic driven, draw stuff up on the board, Brian Callahan, offensive, new age guy that did not have the front of the room leadership skills developed yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you lost that edge. So what are you looking for now? I think they're looking for that middle. They don't need an asshole. They don't need the Mike Vrabel dictator guy who kind of stunted some of the locker room leadership development because he was the leader. They need somebody who can, and these are Borgonzi's words, be demanding of the players and the staff, hold them to a high standard, and not be afraid of conflict. That is what Mike Borgonzi said yesterday. That's John Harbaugh to a T, Jim too. John Harbaugh to a T. And I think they're looking like anybody they bring in is going to do the football X's and O's stuff to the qualifying level. I think the difference is the personality. So I think that's what they are looking for. So my answer to your question is, yeah, I do think they know what they want. And I think they're going to be patient in how they find it.
This is kind of a cop-out answer. I don't know if they know. I can't necessarily point to anything as evidence of why I feel good about them knowing what they want. I also am not sure if it matters because, and I don't mean to be like reductionist or flippant about all of this. Like, whoever you get, if they win games, it's going to be good, and if they lose games, it's going to be bad. And there's a lot of different ways to skin the cat on winning football games. I do think that
ways
they have
to lose too.
Exactly. I think that there is a general understanding in the building, because I think there's a general understanding publicly that the Titans really need a guy who, and these are all like buzzword things, so it's also easy to kind of like be like, okay, well, every coach, you want this to be the case for every coach, so what are we even talking about? But I do think you want a guy that really is a galvanizing leader of men, somebody that the young and fragile locker room, the young and fragile culture of the team can easily buy into, have no doubts about. And I'm not sure that Callahan wasn't that, but I don't think Callahan was the kind of alpha magnetic personality, the presence with the gravity in the room that a Mike Vrabel was. And I guess that's kind of the way that I'm defining alpha in this instance.
Yeah, do you have a gravitational pull?
Right, that can make you believe through the hard stuff. And even the most alpha, most magnetic gravitational guys like Vrabel can only do so much. And that, like, if you continue to lose, like we've heard all the stories about how it started to wane for the Titans at the end, and different people in the locker room had different perceptions of the Vrabel shtick at that point. So it's not perfect, but I just think that they want somebody that's more like that than Callahan was, and I think that they're leaning on guys that are experienced and can point to the pelts on their wall as the easy easy avenue for that. But beyond that, I'm not sure if they know what they want from an X's and O's standpoint. I think that they're pretty open-minded about that, frankly. I think it's an interesting conversation to be had about what kind of system would be best for Cam Ward in particular. Because I know that this front office, there are important people in this front office that really like the McVay, LaFleur, West Coast style system, but are also not certain that it's what's best for Cam, because those systems thrive in structure. And, you know, the Brock Purdy's of the world, keeping things on time is how those systems eat you up. And Cam Ward needs to play more on time, obviously. You can't live out of structure. You never can. In no system can you live that way. but that's the infrastructure stuff is not Cam's strength. At least not right now. It's not. It never has been. So if it becomes one in the future, that'll be a brand new thing for Cam. So I don't know if they know what's best for the team in X's and O's. I think that they are more so starting with the off the field stuff and hoping that the on the field stuff comes as a result of it, I guess is the way that I'm trying to explain this.
I think we're kind of on the same page, but that, in my opinion, that means that I do think they know what they want, where you kind of don't think, because you're thinking they don't know, or it doesn't matter as much. They don't know what they want from a scheme standpoint offensively. And maybe that's where the offensive coordinator is important, right? Because if they check the box of what we both think of the off the field, the leadership, the intangibles, the gravitational pull of the human being, that could be offensive, defensive, special teams guy. Like John Harbaugh is a special teams guy. Pete Carroll's a special teams guy. They've got offensive and defensive guys on their list now.
Right. They're CEOs.
Yeah. So they need the CEO, and then they find the CEO and they find the offensive coordinator that they think fits both with the CEO, head coach, and Cam Ward.
Right. It's interesting. I think we'll get a clearer picture that allows us to theorize. It's really difficult to, again, we don't have a whole lot of concrete things to really grasp here to point to, yes, they do, or no, they don't know what they want, because there's still a bunch of interviewees that haven't come out yet. What I was going to say earlier that we kind of pushed back is this idea that some people upset online that I've seen about what the Titans list looks like and the fact that they haven't requested an interview this guy or that guy. The Titans aren't announcing any of these things. This is all leakage from media and agents. So I'll first caution you, like, just because right this moment on Wednesday at 9:14 a.m. Central Standard Time, we don't know from a new national report that Mike McCarthy is interviewing with the Titans, because we saw that that report came out for New York, for example, I think this morning. That's not proof positive that they're not interviewing him. It just means that we haven't heard about it yet. Now, maybe they aren't, and that's why we haven't heard. But maybe they are, and we just haven't heard yet.
That's
the case for all of these guys.
Yeah, it's a thing of like this list, because we put this list out yesterday, and I think it was Jimmy Morris, was like, have we heard Kingsbury yet? Have we heard McCarthy yet? Mm-hmm. Like, well, yeah, we have. Like, you have, Easton.
Well, and even like the Kingsbury thing was like sort of, right? Because there are different levels to these reports yesterday. Or on Monday. We saw some reports that were like, Cliff Kingsbury will interview with the Titans. It's going to happen on Friday or whatever it is. Like, very, very direct.
Schedule.
And then we saw some where it's like Diana Rossini or whoever reporting that Cliff Kingsbury is expected to interview with the Titans, the Giants, and potentially more. And that's the phrasing. It's like, well, I think that's like, is that confirmation? Is it not? I'm taking it as confirmation, but it's a lot less.
It's not. It hasn't been on the calendar yet. Perhaps they were waiting for Cliff Kingsbury to get fired first.
Well, that's why it's all kind of informal, right? Because they say that's the expectation. When I reported over the weekend that the Titans are going to interview with Mike McCarthy, I believe that's the way that I put it as well. Like, my expectation, I've been told explicitly that the Titans expect to speak to this guy. And then there's also the like, okay, is there a difference between speaking to the guy and interviewing with the guy? Well, you have to kind of parse that out, right? But our sourcing on, because I've gotten questions this morning. Apparently, I'm going to go back and listen. Paul Karski was talking about this on 102.5 this morning. I'm going to listen to see whatever he said. It's making people wonder whether the Titans are actually interested in McCarthy or not. I don't know. But in terms of my reporting, what I can tell you about the sourcing on that is that I was told explicitly by somebody that would know with the Titans that they are going to speak with Mike McCarthy. And we at A to Z also have explicit reporting from more the Mike McCarthy camp on Mike McCarthy having interest in coaching again and having explicit interest in the Titans job.
And so there is mutual interest in that.
There is mutual interest from both sides that we have independently sourced from those two sides. Does that mean that there's an interview on the books? We haven't heard. Like, we would report the date if we heard the date, right? We don't know that. We just know that the expectation from both sides is that they will talk, they will interview. That can also change, by the way, because again, a lot like Jason Garrett, McCarthy is a guy that they can just call up, they can have over, they don't have to label it whatever they like. There's no rules on what you label your interactions with Mike McCarthy right now. So maybe they chat and decide, never mind. Maybe they chat and decide, hey, we'll do this interview down the road, or maybe they decide, hey, we're chatting, we'll call this a formal interview. And we'll when the Titans release their first round list in 2 weeks, like, here's all the guys we interviewed for the first round virtually. He'll be on there, and they'll be the first we hear of it. And it's like, oh, I guess they did interview Mike McCarthy. It's all up in the air.
Yeah, maybe Mike's hanging out at his lake house or his mountain house or whatever until January, 14th. I don't know.
Sure.
He's like, I'm on vacation. I'll hit you up when you get back. But
right. Things change. Things change.
So there's a lot of that. So we did have a couple super chats. Shout out King VC. Lock in, like the show. If you have not liked the show yet, please do that on Facebook and YouTube. That's a massive help for us. So please like the show there. Shout out King VC for that one. And then Charisma says Titans got Henry closer to a Super Bowl than the Ravens have. Correct. That is a fact. Yeah, so far. Because Derrick Henry's under contract for 2 more seasons in Baltimore. And that's another thing, too. And we kind of talked this on the phone last night. Who is Baltimore going to hire? And we don't have to spend a lot of time on this, obviously, because we're not a Ravens show. But, like, there's no Ben Johnson of this candidate cycle. I guess now it's John Harbaugh, but the Ravens are not involved in that. So who are the Ravens going to go after? Who do the Ravens see as a better option? And it's time to move on for John Harbaugh because we like X. There's not the obvious in your face name, right? I mean, is it Stefanski? Did they fire John Harbaugh to go fired Kevin Stefanski
From their own division, right?
From in the division?
Dramatic.
I don't know. I mean, like, people bringing up Clint Kubiak. I mean, okay, but that'd be a pretty big risk.
I mean, the name that I'm seeing initially is Jesse Minter, which, as you and I were talking about yesterday, is a really incorrect retelling of the biblical maxim of robbing.
But it's not even that,
Jim
because you fired John to rob Jim, is what you did.
Right. It's robbing Jim to replace John.
Yes.
Which is super not what it says in the Bible, but close enough.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
For Jesse.
Right. That'd be weird, right? I don't know. A part of that connection, by the way, is the perceived regret, I guess is the right word for it, in the Ravens building, the way that they saw Mike McDonald leave their building after being so awesome and now going to Seattle and being awesome. And there's downside risks to every archetype of head coach, whether it is play calling offensive coach, play calling defensive coach, CEO style coach, whatever it is. But with a CEO style coach like John Harbaugh, this is one, like, the brain drain element of it is the big thing. And it does leave a sour taste in teams' mouths when a CEO type coach loses their guys, and you go through even one down year where the Ravens their down year this year was they won 9 games, 8 games, whatever it was.
Yeah. And their moved without a quarterback for a month. Right.
Yeah. So there's just there was some. It was just not your year, and you look across the country in this case, and you see your old boy just crushing it, and you think, man, he was in here. We had him. We theoretically could have had him long term if we decided to.
This is big. Rich,
so minds wander.
Great super chat on topic there. Does Harbaugh want to go from an elite runner at quarterback who gets injured to Jackson Dart, an oft-injured quarterback who thinks he's an elite runner? It's a great comment. It's, because, the Baltimore Sun, which sounds like a oxymoron of a newspaper, came out with the article of, like, Lamar isn't, like, addressing his health and rehab as intensely as he should. Kind of thing. Like, he's staying up late. He's not pushing to get back quick enough.
There's a lot of fire to that smoke. The Ravens have to cater to him, but also This is how being great works. When you're great in the NFL, you get away with stuff.
Yeah, but again, but then the whole thing, if John Harbaugh is frustrated at that, then man, you just go watch Jackson Dart headbutt Cam Scatteraboo 5 times pregame, and you're like, stop, man. Like,
yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Sneaky topic. If the Titans hire John Harbaugh, Denard Wilson retain?
Bring it on. I dig it.
Okay.
That's a good thought. I hadn't had that thought.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're welcome.
Probably not. Who's the DC in Baltimore?
McDonald.
Right now.
Right now? I don't know. But McDonald was the DC
right
ahead of Denard. I don't know who the current DC is, but they didn't have a great time this year. Orr?
Yes, Orr. Yep. Zach Orr, is that his name?
Sure.
That sounds right.
Jonathan Orr, former
Jonathan
Titans wide receiver. No.
Sorry to the Zach Orr out there.
No. It is Zach Orr. Jonathan, okay. I was about to do a bit. Jonathan Orr. This is just going back to my brain. Jonathan Orr, former Titans draft pick, wide receiver out of Wisconsin, the 5th round. I think like 2006. So if you want to fact check me on that, you can do that. So speaking of that, how about some trivia? Let's do some trivia time here on this Wednesday. Let's go. And shout out to Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process. Go see them in Lebanon or online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. They've got you there. Easton, are you ready for trivia?
I am ready. I forgot how this worked. The last time I did trivia was a very long time ago. So I'm now forgetting that I have to literally pull up.
Yeah, you have to do the thing.
Right. I thought it was just going to magically appear for me. No. I am sharing my screen right now.
All right, here we go. Bang.
Not loving this. Soccer.
Has anybody fact checked me on Jonathan Orr? Or am I going to have to do that myself?
I don't know. I haven't looked at the chat.
I'm doing it.
Where's Ann Indeed, Christophel?
Jonathan Orr.
She always disappears when we need her most.
Ah, dang. I was so close on Jonathan Orr.
What was it?
Wide receiver from Wisconsin, 2006. All correct. I said 5th round pick. He was a 6th round pick. Darn it.
Failing grade.
I mean, that was some crazy pull right there. If I would have just drilled it.
That would have been. But you didn't, so
but I didn't.
Try again next time.
Yeah,
all right, y'all know the drill. We need your help in the chat, especially
3.5.
So
3.5 is what our number is. Orlando. Right. That's. Ugh.
Let's knock the rust off. You ready?
Let's go.
NFL. Originally drafted out of Mississippi State, this Bills wide receiver set a wild card weekend record by totaling 240 receiving yards in a 17-24 loss to the Dolphins in 1999.
Eric Moulds.
Glad you knew.
No.
Oh, woof. Tough start. Science. Ammonia is an inorganic chemical compound of 2 elements, each within the first 10 elements of the periodic table. Hydrogen and this element. Okay. I'm mounds, by the
shook.
way.
Did you?
Molds.
Yeah. Did you click the wrong person?
You told me Mullins.
I said Molds.
Big agrees with me that you said Mullins.
I said Molds. Did you click on Mullins? Who the hell's Eric Mullins?
I don't know, but that's what you told me.
No, I said Molds.
We'll check the tape. Ammonia. We got to get nitrogen. That sounds right.
I'm over
nitrogen and hydrogen.
Nitrogen.
People are saying nitrogen. Okay.
I said Molds. Thank you.
We're off to an incredible start. Jacuzzis edited in thought bubble jokes and animations, and Roger Lodge as the host were part of this dating show from 99 to 06 that followed 2 strangers on a first date.
I don't know.
So out of my range.
I'm just glad I'm validated because the chat's on me. I said Molds.
We will check the tape.
No,
don't worry.
It's already been. Next is it the I remember Next.
Blind date? A thing called Next? Is that even an option?
Yeah, Next was a show. Next question. Dating game? I don't know.
No. I know that's not the dating game.
Next was around that.
People are saying
time
blind
frame.
date. Is that a thing? Blind date is a thing.
So,
People are saying blind date.
Go blind date.
All right.
Okay.
Movies. A high-speed Japanese transit system was the setting for this 2022 action comedy starring Brad Pitt, Joey King, blah, blah, blah. It's called Bullet Train.
Okay. I was thinking
fun movie,
Tokyo,
by the
I was
way.
thinking Tokyo
Underrated.
Drift was my next guess.
No. This pop band had major hits in the 80s with Do You Really Want to Hurt Me and Time, Clock of the Heart. Don't know. Do You Really Want to Hurt Me?
I don't know the name of it.
Me
The
neither.
band.
Someone in the chat will know. Movie sucked? No, it did not. It was
Boy
fun.
George.
Boy George. Sure.
What do you?
I was spelling George. It didn't show up. Culture Club, people were saying.
Okay.
That's an option.
Sure.
Nice. What U.S. state produces the most avocados? Is it New
Avocados?
Mexico? Since it's
Avocados,
from
New Mexico.
New Mexico, that's right.
No.
No, I bet it's not. I mean,
maybe.
It's California, right?
I would think so.
Yeah, I bet it's California.
We've been on a big avocado kick.
Yeah, it's always California. After finishing runner-up in the '06 World Cup, this European country failed to advance to the knockout stage in 2010 after a draw to Uruguay and losses to Mexico and South Africa.
06,
Who knows this?
06 was the Zinedine Zidane headbutt. So I want to say, I think that was the Zidane.
I mean,
Italy.
How are you supposed to know this? Is this notable?
Well, I was like 16 when it happened.
People
So
say France. I know, just like it's not like it failed to advance to the final. They're saying
I think
it failed
France
to advance to
and
the
Italy-
knockout stage.
France and Italy were in that final, I think, in 06.
They were in the final. Well, then that's not them.
That's what it says.
Because
Finishing
the European
runner-up
country failed to advance to the knockout stage
in 06 after finishing runner-up in 06.
Oh, I see. I didn't read it closely. Okay, well, one of those two.
I think France got more votes.
Let's give France a try. Nice.
Okay.
Along with finishing fourth in MVP voting, Jonathan LaCroix led the national team in doubles while playing for this team in 2014.
Wow.
This entire board today is Chinese to me, besides Bullet Train.
Well, there was one that was Japanese.
All right.
Which was Bullet Train.
Yes. Ironically, I got the Japanese one.
Brewers? Says Nick. Question mark.
Everyone knows the fourth place
Brewers.
MVP vote getter in
Brewers.
2014.
Yeah,
right?
what? Yeah, Jonathan LaCroix. I thought that was a seltzer
It's a
drink.
drink. Identify these two celebrities. Well, the guy is
Bill Hader?
No, Cillian Murphy.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Or Killian. I never know if it's Cillian or Killian.
Yeah, I mean,
The woman is man, I know her. She's in Greatest Showman, for example. She's the wife in Greatest Showman. Anyone? Bueller.
Yeah.
She's relatively famous. I shouldn't be blanking on her name.
The lady from the Roses, Nick
I'm gonna
says.
know it. Yeah, yes. I'm gonna know it the second I hear it.
Yeah, we're just getting all Cillian Murphys.
Yeah. What is her name? It's like kind of a simple
Pike?
name too. No. Amy Armstrong. No.
Is it PK?
No.
We're getting Brewers answers. Guys, get the live button.
I'm racking my brain on this
We're getting
person's name.
Rosamund Pike?
Michelle Williams. Thank you. It won't let me.
Just get the hit like control minus or something.
No?
Eric Molds, not Mullins. Eric Molds.
I swear you said Mullins.
No, I did not.
I really thought this was Michelle Williams. It was Rosamund Pike. Whoops. Well, the person I was looking for was
Rosamund
Michelle
PK.
Williams. Is that her actual name?
PK.
Who is she? What has she done?
I don't know. I just because
What is a Rosamund PK?
It's a DK joke.
Yeah, got it.
Okay.
Well, first of all, it's unfortunate that there was a person available named Eric Mullins. Otherwise, I wouldn't have clicked it.
I said Molds. I know I said Molds. The chat is
swear
all
you
over
said
it says Molds.
I'll go pull the tape as soon as we're done here. It's fine. We will get.
Oh, that's she was in Gone Girl.
Correct.
That's an anxiety movie that I don't like watching.
I enjoyed it. It's been a long time though.
It's well done, but
yeah,
good Lord. Good Lord.
Imagine
Okay.
that happening to you.
No, that's what I was feeling the entire time I was watching the movie. This is awful.
Well, great. We got 2 wrong, and it took us however long it took us, 5:48. So
That's you messed up the very beginning of it, and it was
that was not the reason it took that long.
Yes, yeah, part of it. All right, because I was
no. The length had nothing to do with the first one. We were quick on the draw on the first one. We were just wrong.
Okay, all right, that's it for us. Easton, you're live tonight for prime time. Who knows what the news will be by the time you go live later this evening.
That's right.
And then we'll be back tomorrow morning for more updates. We didn't really talk anything about what Borgonzi said. We have many topics about that, but had a lot of Harbaugh conversation today, obviously. So make sure you hit that like button, catch the all the other content coming later on. Appreciate it as always.